Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone viewing from around the world. And welcome back to Conversations That Matter with Dr. Sonia Robinson, Global Civility Leader. I am excited to be here with you today, and my special guest is none other than Dr. Albert Nasesagera from Burundi. Now, when I introduce him, I'm not going through all that I normally do because you've seen him before. But we have 2 more weeks of team introductions to hear about the Sustainable Development Goals and what those teams have prepared for you as far as moving you forward with what the future is going to look like. So far, you've met the leadership team, the food equity team, financial and wealth equity, equity for all and reduced inequalities team, the quality education, and then just last week, you met the gender equality team. So today, we're going to have a discussion with the peace, justice, and strong institutions. So why is that important? Let me tell you. So what happened on January 6th? We had the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. It caused injuries, it caused death, and a lot of damage. And we're still listening to it today, trying to understand what happened and who was involved. And all because we wanted to dispute the election results. Now you say corruption. I'm going to say I think so, but don't go out and say, there was corruption involved. That's just my interpretation and me thinking. So now we have Kenya. Kenya is welcoming a new election in August 2022 of this year. They're still reeling from the past presidential election that resulted in violence. Again, Kenya dealt with corruption, disputed election results, and a whole lot of other things. So why do I say that? Because last week someone said, Sonia, you have a good show, but it's geared towards Africa. And I said, no. I said, you're missing the point. See, this is where misinformation comes in to play. What did I just say? I said, U.S. Capitol, disputed election results, and I felt corruption. Now, what did I just say about Kenya? Disputed election results and corruption. Okay, follow me. Now, look at what's happening over in Ukraine. All these people are being injured and killed over something that they have nothing to do with, all because of an ego-driven individual in office. Now, if I go back to January, I could say the same thing that happened last year with that president. Ego-driven. Then we have high level of crimes in Haiti. We have assaults, armed robbery, murder, kidnapping, corruption, vulnerability to natural disasters, gang violence, and disproportionate use of force by police against protesters. Disproportionate use of force by police against protesters. We have that everywhere. So again, we need to get the misinformation out of our minds and start getting informed on what is going on in the world around us today. Remember Breonna Taylor, the Black female that was shot 5 times by the police, Louisville Police Department? To this day, there still has not been anyone charged in her death. And I think that occurred in 2020. But one of the ex-officers just was on trial last week. And, even though he didn't shoot her, they didn't find him guilty. He didn't get any time, but he was just shooting haphazardly. He shot into the neighbor's house. A bullet went past her head, but he got no time. Now, if this had been anyone of color, what do you think would have happened? And then finally, we have Kimberly Potter, who was found guilty of manslaughter for fatally shooting Dante Wright. Again, a man of color. She received 2 years. Now, if that had been anyone else, the standard is 7 years for manslaughter, but she got 2 years. Now, to me, this is just me again, I think you would be able to tell the difference between a taser and a gun. But again, that's Sonia, so, don't go out there and say this, that, or the other. But if I were protesting or if people were protesting, what would you hear? Without justice, there is no peace. We cannot be satisfied until we all have the right to live, to be free, and to be safe. We need to advance civility for all around the world. So once we've completed the balance of the interviews, we will be changing the platform from Conversations That Matter over to Congress for Global Communications. Now, don't get confused because Conversations That Matter will still be intact. As a matter of fact, I have a couple of world leaders joining me for the next couple of weeks, and you don't want to miss this. So don't forget to tune in. And then finally, what are the three things that I've always asked you to do for me? Please put in the feed where you're watching from. If you have questions, comments, put those in the feed as well. And then finally, share the video. Invite someone. As Sir Clyde always says, there's 7.8 billion people in the world, and we know we don't have 7.8 people viewing with us today. But if we get the video out, believe me, we can work towards that goal. Now, each week, I share with you the purpose, the vision, and the mission slide. And that's to ensure that everyone is aligned with what our goal is and what we're about. So, again, thank you and welcome. And let me just jump into the vision, the mission, and so we can get to the next segment. So, again, vision. The Congress for Global Communications exists to promote diverse and inclusive dialogue, resulting in civility for all. The mission statement. The mission of the Congress for Global Communication is to build global connections and communications for the advancement of sustainable development goals by providing training, policy recommendations, and empowerment forums with an overall scope of transforming the world. And then finally, the purpose: to encourage dialogue, to impact humanity through collaborative global communications, to be the go to resource and authority for sustainable development goals. So, with all that being said, I'm going to bring my co host on for today. I'm not going to do any big introductions because by now I know you've known him because he's been with me several times. But what I will say, and when I say this, this is enough. This is the president's protocol. So when I say that, I think in my mind, he runs the country. So Dr. Albert, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Sonia Robinson. For just a small rectification, I'm no longer in the protocol. I've been chief protocol for 15 years, but now I'm senior advisor to the current president. So I'm no longer in the protocol, but that is my area of expertise.
Yes.
Yeah,
so thank you. You still run the country almost.
Sorry?
Okay, go ahead. I don't want anybody to hear us have that conversation.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a great honor to be with you today. And it's a pleasure. Today, this great day, we are discussing about the great topic about sustainable goal 16.1 called Peace, Justice, and a Strong Institution. Before that, talk about it, let me introduce a guest honor, a friend of mine who is with us today, not other one that Okojiman Oprempusu Kobina Amisa the First, Sir Clyde Livers, who is the development king at large in Ghana, Africa. He's our leaders. He's our guest today. He's staying with me today in Burundi. And Sir Clyde Livers, His Royal Highness, is World Civility Leader, and he's president and founder of I Change Nation. He's an author, speaker, mentor. He's everything. He's working machine man. He's changing nations. He's a regional leader, and he's a diplomat. He's also in a diplomat training and civility. Please welcome King Okojiman Oprempusu Kobina Amisa the First.
Dr. Albert, thank you. Thank you for that great royal introduction. Man, good to be here with you guys today. Dr. Sonia, so happy about the work you're doing. Dr. Albert is truly in my opinion, one of the top leaders for the generations to come. Wise, wisdom. I worked with him for 15 years as the honorary ambassador at large for the Republic of Burundi. So Albert is great. We all, man, just thank you so much.
Yes. Okay, the name of sustainable goal is peace, justice, and strong institutions. That this sustainable goal is very important because where there is no peace, there is no justice. And where there is no justice, as you finished to mention, there can be any development. And institution can be strong where there is no peace, there is no justice, because people, they are not feeling free and they are not feeling safe. And in that area can be development. That's why this sustainable goal is very important to know. That's why communication that matter. We have to communicate and people to be aware, and that we have to build peace and help people about justice, and institution can be strong and people can feel safe and free, so they can think about development. Without those, in that country where there's no peace, no justice, they can be, and we can talk about sustainable development.
It's really good.
Yes.
You want me to chime in now, Dr. Sonia, or are the other ones gonna?
Go ahead and chime in.
Yeah. What Dr. Albert said, that's so important. I think no one's ever, Dr. Sonia or Dr. Albert, no one's ever painted a picture of what a good society really looks like. So it's something that has an actual definition behind it, but no one ever knows what it looks like. I want to have a good community. Okay, what does it look like? So I think we need to really define what that looks like, so people understand what they're looking for. It's sometimes in America, I have people say everyone's equal. I'm going, okay, but everyone's not gifted the same. So I think at times, with the verbiage of these things, it can say the right things, but it's so hard to paint the picture. What does a good institution look like? What does, and that's what I think we're unraveling right now. And everything Dr. Albert said, I agree. If there's no peace, there's no justice. If there's no peace, there's no development. Nobody builds during war. So I think we have to re-educate leadership. Do you really want a divided force in your country or the world? If not, it's not going to benefit you. So that's just some of my input.
Okay. So before we bring out the guests, the panelists, I'm going to show this short video clip. Dr. Albert, is that okay with you?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay.
Goal 16 is peace, justice, and strong institutions. The aim is to provide access to justice, reduce violence, and promote representative decision-making. We spoke to societies and academics who are helping promote this goal on local and global levels.
The extent of the transformation required in societies around the world is enormous, and so inevitably it's going to make existing institutions creak and strain. There will be people who will be unhappy about change. There will be people who will be directly negatively impacted economically. It will push the amount of trust we have in our political leaders to the absolute limit. So we have to actually think about the state of our democracy and the strength of our institutions as much as environmental problems when we're thinking about this process of change. We need to rethink how we make decisions and how we make policies. And I think citizens' assemblies and climate juries, all these kinds of things, are really helpful in enabling us to do that in a new way and strengthening our institutions at the same time.
My specific project researches arson as a protest strategy in Ireland. Perhaps by delving further into the act of violence, we can get to grips with why violence, as opposed to more peaceful forms of political dialogue, is needed. I'm not saying that my research will necessarily stop things being burned, but I think there is a real value in understanding motivations for all forms of violence. I do think that academic research and teaching and education and awareness does play a role in making sure that peace is maintained in those societies.
I am president and co-founder of UN Women's Society at Exeter. The society in general is just to raise awareness and campaign for issues globally and locally impacting women and other marginalised genders. So we hold campaigning events, fundraising events, but also it's just a space for people to come together and talk about issues which are important to them.
Hi, I'm Emily from Amnesty Society, and our main objective as a society is to raise awareness of the incredible human rights work that Amnesty International does. We allow students to campaign for issues they believe to be essential in the fight for equal human rights.
Becoming a University of Sanctuary, but also like the masters that they've started, which kind of like aim towards the future, and kind of like their big conversations that they've been having, kind of like looking to the students and the academics to look for the future rather than it being like a top-down process.
Okay, Dr. Albert, back over to you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Before I introduce the team, let's come again about about institutions. You know, leadership is everything. Leadership is people are there to think, to stand for the people, think about their future, and think to guarantee the peace and everything. So when there is good institutions lay on laws, and people who take care for leaders who are there to stand for their people and to be sure that their people, they are secure and feel free. So then peace is there. And when the peace is there, justice is there. And there you can talk about sustainable development. Thank you. Let's then introduce the team. We have here Dr. Eric Holmes, who is the team leader for our sustainable goal. He's a great man and he brings a value in this group. He's a life coach, he's a publisher, author, and a speaker. He's director of marketing and radio host for Power Influence Radio. He's an ordained elder and World Civility Ambassador. He has 25 years in healthcare. He's an influencer, and he's an inspiration and impactful. Let's welcome Dr. Eric in our area. So we have his time to talk after. We have second one in under the leadership of Eric. We have Dr. Shannon Cox. He's 2020 recipient of the FBI Community Award. She is Haitian Nation Civility Woman of the Year 2021. She has 20 years in law enforcement. She's founder and CEO of Trauma Informed Space for Female. She's skilled in non-profit organization, mental health care, crisis intervention, and trauma intelligence. The other person we have in our team is Professor Sam Ebube, who is not able to be here today because he excused himself. He has skills and leadership. He has his background, skills, and leadership educator, founder of Youth Matrix, National Statement for Youth Matters to a Change Nation in the US. He is a published author, international speaker, and World Spirit Ambassador. Yes, he also specializes in the Holy Spirit encounters, suicide prevention, and mental health, life skills. And the last one we have Ambassador Dr. Erwin Timothy Roland. He's Global Peace Ambassador. He's founder and national chairperson for Global Church Areas. He is a Church Nation Global Representative. He's pastor, and his position is in public relation, humanitarian, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. Let's welcome our team. This is my presentation for our team members. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
They want me to go.
So, Dr. Eric, quick question for you. What does ICNCGC mean to you?
What it means to me, first of all, thank you everyone for allowing me this great opportunity, this great vision, what God has birthed. And this is such a global impact for the world, not just one city, one state, one city, but for the world to hear of everything that is going on and what it means to me. It's a great deal because anything I'm a part of, I hold value to it. And awesome, Sir Clyde, thank you so much. Just amazing. Always good to have him on. But it's making this impact in the earth realm, making a difference in our communities, in our world. One city at a time, one state at a time, one community and one country at a time. But it means so much because it's making difference in the lives of people, or as Sir Clyde would say, this civility for all. It's helping somebody else. We're bringing this back. And so both of these together, as we have come together, it means so much to me with the purpose behind it, the vision behind it, that the deposits that it's making in the earth realm, that lives are being changed, lives are being impacted, and there's a difference being made, and we're changing the atmosphere, we're changing the cities, we're changing the countries. And so I hold it dear to my heart because I'm a part of this great vision making change in the earth realm.
Yes, that's good. That's good. Shannon, same question for you. What does ICNCGC mean to you?
I'm grateful to be a part of this group. And I first have to acknowledge the white privilege I bring to this space, the law enforcement privilege, the class privilege that I bring to this space. And I hope anyone that comes to this work humbly will acknowledge the privilege that they bring into the space with them so that they do no harm when they're trying to engage in this work, especially with powerful peers of color and in institutions that have harmed those individuals, that we come humbly to do this work alongside you. This is a powerful opportunity. It's an opportunity to engage in critical conversations, to spread real peace in our communities, to protect children, to allow those who have been harmed to heal, to transform justice systems into places that do no harm. As a former police officer, after I went through all of the training, I was formally made a peace officer, but I don't know that when we look to officers in this country and in this world, that we look to them to spread peace, to bring peace to settings, to bring healing to settings. So I call on my brothers and sisters as we engage in these amazing healing opportunities for change to think about your role as peace officers in this world and in this country. I feel very humbled and privileged to be a part of this group, to be a part of the conversation, to bring healing, transformative justice into spaces that are doing harm, to allow those who do not feel peace in their cities, in their countries, to be able to create peaceful settings for their children and for their communities. So it has, it's been a humbling experience to be a part of this group. And I know that as a collaborative humanity, we can rise to this challenge.
Yes, yes. Hey, I sat in on one of your meetings and I was listening to you, and it was pretty much about when you were a part of the police force and, you know, your feelings at that time, but you made a change. You made a change where you start looking at how people felt. Do you remember that conversation you were having?
Yes.
Can you
So
share a little bit about
Yeah.
that change you went through?
Yes, so I am a survivor of sexual violence in my childhood and as an adult at a university here in Utah. And I was angry and scared and tired of being abused. So I became a police officer so that I could stop being harmed. But what I found were thousands and thousands of people suffering an addiction because they had been abused. And we cannot lock up and heal people's spirits inside of jails and prisons. So I realized that the reason I was there was not just to lock up dangerous individuals, but to allow those suffering in addiction to do it in healing, transformative spaces, to love my brothers and sisters. And I know that is not a common goal for law enforcement, but I fell in love with the brothers and sisters that were suffering in addiction and intergenerational poverty, and looked for solutions so that they could heal their brains and bodies and change their stories and find what God had intended for them on this earth, which is not pain and suffering. It is healing, it is love, and it is transformative for themselves and their children and their communities. And so after 20 years in law enforcement, I created a nonprofit, a healing space for women and children and those that were fleeing violence. And now I realize my call is to bring trauma intelligence to the world. Everyone can heal. And when you are healed, you no longer carry hate in your heart. You don't want to destroy your enemy anymore because you love them. You want healing for all humanity. It is a prayer I send to my brothers and sisters in war-torn countries, those that are fleeing violence currently, that they will know that their brothers and sisters across this globe love them and are praying for them and will seek justice for them and healing for all of us.
Yes, yes. Okay, Dr. Eric, back to you. What does peace, justice, and strong institutions mean to you?
What it means to me, and when we deal with peace and then we deal with the word, one, that the peace he gives, that the only peace like he can give, if we go back to basic and go back to the word and bringing that peace to humanity, bringing that peace back to our communities, it means so much when we're trying, as Shannon said, to heal and bring that healing back, that love back. And so when we're dealing with the peace and the justice and trying to bring that, making a difference in these institutions and helping others and bringing the information and bringing this knowledge that we are all one, we are all coming together to make a difference. And so the peace that God gives, that we base this on the love that he gives, that we were all created equal, even though people don't see it as equal. We see it with the world, what's going on now, that all these wars and different things that is transpiring. What can we do? And so when we're trying to make a difference, we can make a difference. We are that one that can say, what can I do to make a difference? What can I do to bring this peace? And so the understanding that we have, the knowledge that we have, the wisdom that we have, the love and the prayers that we have, we can bring this to try to make a difference, whether it's one city at a time, one community at a time, even in our neighborhoods, that this means a lot, because we are the voice changers. We are the atmosphere changers. We are the ones that we are those ambassadors that he has called and given us a task to do, the assignment to make a difference in the earth realm, because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? And so the peace that we have, and to bring this peace back and in dealing with the justice, and so everybody gets the justice, and so it's not just excluded. We know what the world gives is because everybody's not treated fairly, or the justice system is different for some and not altogether for the others. And so then when we bring this information, we're bringing things back to the table. We're going back to the basics. So it means a lot that I can be a part of the solution, not just the problem, but a part of the solution. So this is what makes a difference, why I'm so humbly and grateful to be a part of this and to be able to bring this back into humanity, bring it back as with the civility. And so we can be the atmosphere changer. We can be those ones, those ambassadors that God has called to take back to our cities, our communities, our schools, our children, that we could reach them now, impart to them now the knowledge, the wisdom, the love, and so they don't have to make some of the choices and mistakes, and they can love, and they can make a difference, and they can be the difference. And so it means that much. And so I hold it near and dear that I'm a part of this great vision, part of this great solution, that the problems that we're having, and so the wisdom that we share, the love and knowledge, we can share it with somebody else, that we can change somebody else. If we can reach one, as they say, reach one, teach one. If I can make a difference in just one to help somebody else, we're doing it one individual at a time.
Yeah. Since Professor Sam is here, and I know he has to jump in and out because he's already speaking someplace else, let me jump over to him first. And Sam, the question that I had asked earlier is, what does I Change Nation CGC mean to you?
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Sonia Robinson. And I would like to first of all start with a very awesome greetings to my mentor, the President of His Royal Highness, Nana King Okoji Okebusu. Thank you so much, sir. I celebrate you. Thank you for putting me all on different stages all across the globe. I celebrate you, sir. And also to Ambassador Albert, I celebrate you, sir, from the country of Burundi. Blessings to you. Dr. Eric, my awesome and amazing brother. Big shout out to you. And so you are amazing. Thank you for helping us to achieve this great conversation today. I would like to say that ICNCGC is a global conversation that matters in this present world. Now, if we look at what is going on across the globe right now, the most prominent incident that is rising between Russia and Ukraine, you will see the value and importance of CGC and ICN, bringing a civilian approach of leadership and peace, justice, At the same time, with a great and strong institution to the table. I believe with this, we will change the world. If we can change one, then we can change all. Now let's take a look at, imagine that we have this conversation. Imagine we have a new paradigm of CGC, of ICN in the past 20 years. Do you know what would have happened to the world today? So it is so imperative that we use all that we have within us, the voice that we have right now, to cascade the information that will help humanity in this post-pandemic era. Thank you so much, Dr. Sonia Robinson.
Thank you. What does peace, justice, and strong institutions mean to you? Professor Song.
Yeah, thank you so much. Peace, justice, and strong institutions is a new paradigm shift that is needed for the world to live in this post-pandemic era. First, I'm going to start with peace. Now, without peace, we can see what is happening presently. Everyone is living in a crucial time where people are living in fear. If there is peace, then we all will live in harmony and live to fulfill what God has destined us to do, to achieve in life. So for me, peace is innegotiable. It is what we all need to aspire to acquire in all nations all across the globe. Now, let me quickly switch back to a strong institution, because I feel that is my area of specialization. Now, let's take a look at the world that we live in today. I said the other time, I said we need strong institutions and not just strong men, not strong leaders. Now, when we have a working institution, now we will live in a world where everything becomes easy for every one of us across the globe. The strong institutions will help every leader to lead in this post-pandemic era. So I think there is so much that we need to do, and that is what we are doing with ICN CPC. We want to create a new leadership model, a new leadership skills for the emerging leaders. In the next 20 years, all the leaders on the table will not be the one leading in the next 20 years. These new emerging leaders of today, like Sakla Rivers always say, it says that youth lead now. If youth are to lead now, what are those trails? What are leadership skills and values that are out there to lead in this post-pandemic era? These are some of those things that I have brought to the table under the leadership of His Royal Highness King Sakla Rivers. I'm going to come up with a youth metrics institute that will help the young people to lead in this post-pandemic era. And we are asking that the world needs to arrive to a strong institutions together with ICN, together with CGC, and together with all the world leaders, we will create a strong institution that will work for all. Thank you.
Okay, so Shannon, same question to you. What does peace, justice, and strong institutions mean to you? You're on mute.
Move the mute, please.
Peace is about emotional and physical safety and access to peaceful settings and spaces and institutions. Justice, we looked at through 3 different lenses, but through the ICN civility lens, it looks like healing justice spaces, restorative, transformational justice models that everyone can be healed. Just society means justice for all racial constructs, all genders, all ages, all human beings. It recognizes all human life as sacred, and it recognizes new models of restoration and transformation where the victim is healed, the perpetrator is healed, so that the community can be healed. That doesn't mean that we don't lock up dangerous people. But if we put human beings in cages and expect them to transform into peaceful human beings and not harm those that are in those spaces, we are wrong. We cannot continue to lock people up in cages and treat them like animals and not expect them to harm the officers in those settings, the therapists in those settings, and the other inmates in those settings. We must create healing, transformative settings so that everyone can heal, because every life matters. All human life matters. We must look at racial justice. We were created in His image. We are all one human race. But we have to look at that through the lens of harm that has been done. Where there is racism, there could be no justice. There was a rallying cry. I can't breathe. Painful words ignited a movement around the world, calling for racial justice everywhere. We cannot forget our responsibility as human beings to one another, no matter what role we play in those spaces. We must root out corruption in all of those spaces where they have the privilege of power. We must find leaders that are just and loving, that do not seek power and riches, that are there to share wealth, to uplift human beings that they're responsible for. We can change the world. One community, one state, one country at a time.
So I know when you guys were working on or as you're working on your presentations, you each took a specific area because that was the area that you specialized in. So talk to me a little bit about that, Dr. Eric.
Shout out to my team. This whole thing has been amazing, and Shannon's about just got me all emotional because of the passion we have, because we are a part of something great, part of this vision, part of ICN, part of, CGC, part of this whole dynamic that's bringing something to the world that God has birthed. And now the world gets to hear the work that is being put behind for somebody else to hear. And so when I was dealing with peace, of course, always going back to the word, the peace that He gives, that peace that surpasses all understanding. And if we're going back even in September, I think it's September 21st of 2022, which is World Peace Day, and also known, to understand this peace that He gives. Why? We can't take it away. They cannot take it away. He gives it. And so when we go back to the word, when we go back to basic, we got to have peace with our brothers and sisters, peace, with our neighbors, because the word still clearly says, follow peace with all men, or no man shall see the Lord. So we still got to go back to the word, still go back to basic. And so we got to follow this blueprint, follow this word. And when we were doing a study of it, it said there were 8 key factors or pillars that describe the working of social economic when dealing with peace, this whole system. And when we were dealing with the functioning of government, sound of business development, accepting rights, everybody have to have equal rights, dealing with good relationship with our neighbors, having that free flow of information, high levels of human capital, and then there were low levels of corruption, the equitable distribution of resources. How many of us really have all the resources that we need if we're dealing with this whole piece that we all have it, or dealing with the justice system that everybody should be treated with equal rights, equal development that we have, that everybody is one. We were all created equal in His sight, and so why this the division? And so we're trying to bring back this peace, that everybody, even when we tie into the strong institution, that we're building upon the foundation. We're building one youth at a time. We're building for the next generation. Well, actually, they're already here. So when we say we're building for the next, they're already here. And so when we can bring this and embed it in them now, that they would carry out what is already built, the foundation, and build upon it, keep building upon it, because it was already laid, even from the shoulders that we stand on. Bring it back. And so this peace that He is, the world can't take it away. It seems like it, but He's still the strong one. It seems like it, but He's still greater. It seems like it, but His word will never fail. So if we be the change, if we be the ambassador, if we stay on the assignment and stay on the wall, fasting and praying, I believe, as He said, if my people are called by my name. So we go back to the basics. So peace means so much because so many do not have it. But yet and still, we are the ambassadors. We are changing the nation. We are bringing this global Congress communication to a city, to a nation, to our neighborhoods. So we got to be the one. And sometimes you even got to take a risk when you don't even know the outcome.
Yes.
Really good. Wow, powerful.
Yes. Song. Professor Song.
Yeah.
I think you had strong institutions.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Tell me a little bit about strong institutions. That's where you're strong.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to say to all our viewers right now, and those that still watch the replay, is that to build a strong institutions, we have to build the right mindset that will sustain the strong institution that we need. Now, a lot of people, we have a lot of strong institutions out there, but they are not producing the results and the evidence that the world needs. So what do we need to do different? What approach do we need to use to build a strong institutions that will work for all? These are the questions that I want you right now as you're watching to ponder on right now. How do we have a strong institutions that will work for you and I? We all need to have a civility approach of leadership mindset. Because without this, peace, justice, and all the 15 institutions that we have in stock right now will not produce any result for us all across the world. So what do we need to do? We need to have a new mindset. And for us to have a new mindset, we have to have an educational model that will help people to know the importance of strong institutions. So right now, presently, in my own quarter, I'm trying as much as possible to have institutions that will help to educate the teens and the young adults on the civility approach of leadership that will help our strong institutions to work. So we need a working institutions. And how do we do this? And how do we work on this? So we need to educate the young people and the emerging leaders as well as the established leaders. We need to ensure that the established leaders, the leaders that are there right now, we need to let them know that truly you've done well by creating an institutions. We are coming up with a new approach to a strong institutions that will work for everyone all across the world, irrespective of their gender, irrespective of their country, irrespective of their continent. So this is the approach that I and my team, and President Dr. Eric and Sharon, as well as Dr. Alba, this is what we are bringing to the table to see that ICN CGC is not like every other institution that has come. But we want to leave a full imprint that will last the next generations and the generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Shannon, justice.
Yes. So we broke justice into 3 different areas: criminal justice, which is moving to that more healing, transformative justice model; racial justice, an acknowledgement of pain of hundreds of years of institutionalized racism, and its influence in the criminal justice system and in education systems and in financial wealth systems and banking systems; and social justice and universal human rights. In looking at this UN problem and discussion of the problem, we need to acknowledge the amount of harm that is occurring in our world. Sometimes it's hard to acknowledge it because it's painful to think about how many children are experiencing harm. But I think in addressing this issue, we must be a witness to the harm that is being incurred by the children of this world right now. When the UN discusses this goal 16, they talk about corruption in developing countries and with the judiciary and the police to the tune of $1.26 trillion in corrupt dealings in developing countries. They talk about the lack of birth registration in developing countries linked to rights, business development, and access to education and wealth. For example, 46% of sub-Saharan African children do not have identification. The rule of law and development have a significant interrelation and are mutually reinforcing. 31% of the prisoners globally are sitting in prisons without trial or adjudication of their charges. Justice means allowing all children the benefit of safe passage and access to education, free from sexual assault and sexual harassment. Globally, the number of children out of school has fallen from 60 million to 57 million in 2011. I would say with the war that we are witnessing today, that number has probably increased. There is documentation about children internationally battling to go to school. It is a violent place in developing countries for girls. More than half of the female children in the world will be sexually assaulted while trying to attend a school. The number fleeing war, persecution, and conflict exceeds 70 million children. In 2019, the United Nations tracked 356 killings and 30 enforced disappearances of human rights defenders, journalists, and trade unionists in 47 countries. Violence against children affects more than 1 billion children around the world and costs the US $7 trillion a year. 50% of the world's children experience violence every year. 1 in 10 children is sexually abused before the age of 18. 9 in 10 children live in countries where corporal punishment is not prohibited, leaving 732 million children without legal protection. 1 in 3 internet users worldwide is a child. 800 million of them use social media, and any child can become a victim of online violence. Child online sexual abuse reports have grown from 1 million in 2014 to 45 million. 45 million in 2018. 246 million children worldwide are affected by school-related violence each year. 1 in 3 students has been bullied by their peers at school in the last month. And at least 1 in 10 children have experienced cyberbullying. And I can tell you in my community, we have had 2 very young children commit suicide in the last few weeks. We must acknowledge the impact of violence against children in this world and acknowledge that healing is possible, but we have to bring the change. We have to bring the healing. We are responsible to heal these children so that they can find their God-given path on this earth.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Man.
So this is good. This is good. I know we're running out of time. I know it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in Burundi. So we need to bring this to a close. So, but I can keep going, but we're going to bring it to a close. So Dr. Eric, what are the goals of the team for 2022?
One of the things is continue to collaborate, continue to work upon this vision that in this assignment that has been given, continue to do the research that we have and continue to search, but continue to be the change and be that one that we can still bring the solution to the problems that we're facing. Continue to come together, our ideals, come together, share what we have, what we learn, the wisdom and knowledge so we can continue to make a difference.
That's good. That's good. Sharon or Sean, do you have anything to add to that?
Wow.
I
like to say that.
Sorry.
I like to say that.
Go ahead.
Sean?
I think
I would like to say that. Yeah, what I want to say is that to ensure that CDC is being heard all around the globe, there is 2 most prominent and powerful tools that we in this peace, justice, and institutions want to use to ensure that our voice is heard is to ensure that we use media, music. Now, these 2 tools have been the most powerful agent tools that have helped information to get to the right source all across the globe in the past 6,000 years. One other thing I'd like to add is that I am working on a project, on a song to address the global issue that is facing every child all across the globe. The song is titled For Every Child. It is imperative that we give hope to the hopeless in every nation all across the globe. And that is what myself and my team, Dr. Eric and Sharon, we are doing together to ensure that we speak for the voiceless. We want to ensure that the voice of the voiceless is being heard all across the globe. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Shannon?
I believe that, our God, Allah, Mother Earth, our ancestors on the other side can be called in to help us do this work, and that a powerful change and a powerful force will come into play that will allow us to bring peace and healing and transformation in all the corners of the earth, and that all of the children can receive healing in their brains and their systems, that they can find their calling on this earth to survive and to become leaders in the spaces where they live. And we will be a part of that vision going forward.
Thank you. Dr. Rivers, I'm going to ask for closing comments, final remarks. If you want to summarize it, go ahead. It's an honor to have you as a part of the team today. So I thank you for being here.
Thank you. One thing I want to say, I think there's an equation that we have to look at. As long as people are paid to keep a problem alive, that's where our problem lies. Many institutions don't want to solve the problem because they lose a paycheck. So we have to create a different kind of an institution that says, "Hey, let's make people better." Because and if you make people better and you lose a job when they get better, well, the one that needs a job, they'll make sure that people don't get better. So this is something that I think this amazing team has. Man, just great insight, great wisdom, and it's just this is a phenomenal group that'll be on stages. I mean, we will create our own stages to talk about these issues. But the one thing we have to do, we have to not allow the problem to continue, because if we solve it and someone loses a job, they will never solve the problem because they will keep working. So we have to create a new way of thinking that says, hey, when we solve the problem, you move up. Something better happens. Not to keep the problem going and the donors get more when the problem continues. We want people to get more when the problem is over. So thank you so much. I think this is a phenomenal group. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dr. Albert.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm so excited to hear what the contribution for the team. Dr. Eric was under fire. Was preaching. Professor Sam, Professor Shannon, it was powerful. And of course, our Royal Highness. So our topic is really important. This sustainable goal is very important. It's talking about peace, justice, and the strong institutions. And you know, the world today is missing the foundation, the basic. And the basic is a human being, because who bring trouble is a human being, is mankind. Who practice injustice is human. Who is challenging the institutions is a human being. So you found the word missing today, it's moving to bring focus on human being. And we need really the leaders with integrity, leaders with values, with ethics, who can bring. I can give you an example. I came to work with the president when I was still very young, and I meet people, different background. I come to work with people who was standing 10 years fighting. So me, I was coming from college, from school, and it was very hard for me to be to integrate myself. But I learned. I remember one night I took a decision, and I said, "There's no any child go to advise the president. There's no any child go to head of state, to state house." So I make a decision to be mature and to learn each one behavior and decide to be peace giver and peacemaker and to be the messenger of peace around me, and to say and make a decision that what I don't need others do for me, I can do for them. You know, there's sometimes we talk about peace and justice and we need others do, but as Dr. Eric says, we are the ambassador of that. Let's start where we are to be peacemaker, peace giver around us. That's the meaning of my name, Nasasagare, meaning peace giver, peacemaker. And I sit down and really decide. And many people ask me, why you spend a long time in the president's office? Because this is a miracle. And I tell them, because I'm Albert, full stop. I am me. I realize that I have something to give, not waiting for people to give to me.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we need affection, we need attention, we need care, we need peace, we need justice, we need us to be assisted. But all those things you need, start to give.
Yes.
And start to give. And when you are giving what you have, and people will follow you. People will watch what you are doing.
Yes.
And I know we around the election, there was a crisis. And I know all those people was not liking me, was coming to me to take advice and to ask me to pray for them and to advise for them. Let's be peacemaker and peacegiver. And really, let's work where we are in our families, starting in our families.
Yes.
Where we are working, everywhere we are in our neighborhood, to be really people, they are watching us. They are following. You know, when we watch the world today, they're talking about peace, but the action is the opposite. They're talking about justice, but the action is opposition. And, you know, let's not be like others, but create something and people can learn from us. God bless you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
powerful, man.
It was. It's like, oh, okay. So he said this, he said that. I'm like, okay, well, you don't took all my words. I wanted to say, you know, we need to just go back to the basics and the foundation in order to fix what's wrong today. You know, and I was going to talk about how people have a tendency to watch what you do. Since we're sitting here saying that we're going to do all these things, you know, we're going to be watched going forward. Are they living, you know, and breathing exactly what they're saying? So these are some things that we need to be cognizant of as we move forward. And then, you know, one of the things that I wanted to mention is we talk about peace. You know, we talk about being a light for the people. You know, we want, when the people look at us, we want them to see sunshine. But what I really want to say is that sometimes, you know, we don't have to be right all the time. People don't have to be right all the time, because we're talking about keeping peace. When you talk about keeping peace, sometimes it's okay just to let them think they're right, just so we can just keep peace. Because right now, people are in a, I want to say PTSD state, but I'm not going to say that. I've said it, I guess. But sometimes when you say something to people, they just tend to fly off the handle. And so in some cases, it's best not to say anything, you know, how are you today? You know, just have a conversation to see where they are, you know, because if you share with people and let people see that you care, people tend to follow you. You have conversations with people, you know, you're trying to bring the best out of them, and you want them to see the best in you as well. But when you have those relationships with people, they tend to follow you. And when people follow you, you're that much more sure to get where you want to go and to get the things in place that you want to have in place. So if you look at what's going on today in Ukraine, and you look at Zelensky, when he gets on TV and he makes his, you know, his plea for help, and he's, you know, telling the people, I don't want to be helicoptered out of here. I'm going to be here with my people. You know, this is what I need from you. I don't need that. I need this for you. I need this for my people. You see how his people are there for him? And I say that to say, if we show the same determination to people around the world that we're here to help you, you know, at the time I did this, you know, I sort of had thoughts, you know, and God was working with me, but I did not know at that time it would have this big of an impact. This right here is moving. People are calling, people are sending notes. What can I do to become a powerful, you know, a part of that powerful team? You know, I already see action, you know, and that's what I keep telling the team members now. We've done the introductions. It's time for action. We can't at this point go and sit back. We have to keep this thing moving forward. And the more people we inform and we get rid of the misinformation, you know, the better off people will be. And, you know, I so often remember this man that works for me, he watches Fox News. So we would have these conversations, and he'd tell me this or he'd tell me that. And I said, you know what, here's the problem. Don't just listen to one news station. They're going to give you what they want you to hear. You need to get a broader perspective of what's going on in the world in order to make your own decision.
Really good.
So that's what we need to drive home with people today. You know, don't just listen to me. Don't just listen to CNN. Go read some newspapers. Go read some books. Go talk to some people. You need to bring everybody in here to have a conversation. One of the things I heard this morning is I was at an appointment, and this lady had, and it was in regards to Ukraine. The lady called her mother that was in Russia to tell her what was going on. And her mother told her, I don't believe anything that you're saying. You know, this is what Putin is saying on the TV. And I'm like, really? I'm like, see, again, you're listening to one person that's ego driven. Get outside of that and start looking at everything that's going on around you to get a true understanding of what is taking place today. So again, I thank everybody for being a part of the show today. I will look forward for your visitations, your viewing for the next 2 weeks. Again, don't forget to chime into Conversations That Matter next Saturday and the following Saturday at 12 o'clock. I have something special for you. And then we'll carry on with our 3 o'clock Congress for Global Communication as well. And I'm going to do something different and ask Dr. Eric Holmes to close us out in prayer.
All right, sure. Again, thank you, Dr. Sonia, for saying yes to the vision. Sir Clyde, thank you for the global work in imparting us to bringing us together, how God ordained for you to bring us all together, and for this amazing team. Thank you so very much. Iron sharpens iron. I am my brother and sister's keeper. And as Colossians 3:15, follow peace, that the peace of God rule your heart. So with that being said, Father, we thank you for this awesome time we have shared together from across this nation, from across this world, everyone in different locations, but yet you are the one who joined us together. We thank you for the vision and this global work that is at hand. God, continue to equip us for the work. God, continue to give us the wisdom. God, continue to order our steps even now. Bless each and every individual on here, everyone that has tuned in, listened, or the replay. God, allow your word to do the work, and God will be so grateful to give you the glory, the honor, the praise. We thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for being the ambassador. Thank you for the privilege to be used and to be called by you. So we thank you even now. Look upon this visionary. Look upon Sir Clyde. Look upon each and every one, oh God, that you've given such a global vision to impact the world and the lives of others. God, that we might do it one city, one state, one community, one country, and for the world at large. We thank you even now, but all glory belongs to you. We thank you even now. We give you glory, honor, and praise. Cover us and keep us under the blood. Dispatch your angels even now. Go with us and stand by us. And Father, we thank you even now. And it is in Jesus' name. Thank God and amen.
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 I will see you backstage.